You are meant to grow. You're meant to learn. You're meant to shine in your own special way. But we all fall into traps sometimes that cause us to become our own worst enemy. And so that's what this month's mini-series in Confidence Deep Dive is all about. Thank you for joining me. This is part 1 of how to stop being your own worst enemy. And the first thing we're going to talk about, and this is today's episode, is the 5 traps we fall into that cause us to do this to ourselves. What's even going on? Why are we doing this? It's really brain science because our brains are wired to protect us. They're wired for survival. And we receive input from the time we're born about survival. People tell us no in order to protect us. Maybe it's don't touch the hot stove or don't run in the street. Sometimes people tell us no for other reasons. Maybe it's not really meant to protect us. It's some other scenario. But according to behavioral research, as much as 77% of what we think is negative or works against us. So is it because we were told no, not to touch the hot stove? Well, of course not. Good thing we were told no, not to do that. Some things we can't do because we need to be safe. But in order to keep us safe, the brain starts to take in this information that we need to always be comfortable. We need to always be safe because we need to survive. So let's see what these self-talk traps look like. Trap number 1 is evidence or lack of evidence. And this is when you are thinking, well, I've never done that before, so I guess it must not be possible. There's no evidence that this is possible or this is true. So maybe you're going for a new job, or you want a promotion, or you are going for a new goal in your business, or you want a new type of relationship, but you've never done that. And so your brain is saying to you, well, that's not going to work. Show me the evidence that works. I see none. It's not going to work. So that lack of evidence is trap number 1. And of course, the fact that you've never done something before doesn't mean you can't do it, right? But that's what our brain fixates on sometimes. Trap number 2, comparison. And we have a whole podcast episode about this. I don't look or sound like her. I'm a mess compared to her. I could never do what she does. We're comparing ourselves to someone else. We're only seeing their success, or sometimes we say their highlight reel. And we're thinking, well, gosh, my life doesn't look like that. My day doesn't look like that. My house doesn't look like that, whatever. But we're not seeing the whole picture. We're not seeing the behind the scenes. We're just making a comparison with the shiny parts from someone else's experience. That's the second trap. Trap number 3, fear of failure. And honestly, this might be fear of success more than fear of failure. Maybe I should name it that. And this is when you catch yourself kind of thinking in your mind, if I'm too happy, I better be careful because the other shoe is going to drop. And if you don't know that saying, it means something bad's going to happen. Or, and this truly drives me nuts, don't get your hopes up. This idea that if we get our hopes up, if we really start hoping for something and expecting it to happen, then that's risky or dangerous, keeps us away from all kinds of cool stuff. Get your hopes up. But I'm on the traps, so this is a trap. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear that something bad is going to happen. Trap number 4, lack of motivation. And this can come from being physically tired. It can come from being emotionally tired. It can come from being mentally tired. Just, having fallen down a few times in a row, but you're thinking to yourself, it's not worth the effort. Like I'd love to have this thing or do this thing, but I don't know if it's worth the effort. Or you're thinking, I tried, but I'm too busy to do anymore. I'm tired. I just can't keep going with this. Lack of motivation. And trap number 5 is we get into the habit of speaking doubt. So if you find that you are most of the time voicing your worries instead of voicing your vision, that can be a problem. And this is where I often talk about complaining as conversation. So we think that, it makes no difference really to always be chit-chatting with other people and saying, the traffic was rough today, wasn't it? Gosh, so annoying. Traffic's always bad. I think it's getting worse. Drivers are so crazy and it's so cold outside. Like, I'm so sick of the winter. It's so dark. I'm ready for it to be spring. If that is how your conversations tend to go regularly, you are teaching your brain to focus on those things, the annoying traffic, the bad part about the weather. You're looking for the negative stuff, and that's not what we want to teach our brains to do. So if we're always voicing our worries instead of our vision, then that's a trap that's going to hold us back and keep us as our own worst enemy. Now, that doesn't mean you can't sometimes vent and voice your worries. Of course, you need to vent sometimes. But if it's a habit that we're always speaking doubt, then that is something that is going to hold us back and keep us in that worst enemy position. So for today, which of those traps resonates with you? So let me just quickly go back and review. It's a lack of evidence. You've never done that, so maybe it's not possible. It's what you're telling yourself. Or it's comparison, that you don't look or sound like someone else, or you just feel like you're kind of a disaster compared to them. Or it's a fear of failure or fear of success. Not getting your hopes up. I don't want to get my hopes up, or gosh, something bad's going to happen if I'm too happy and it was too easy. Or maybe it's a lack of motivation. Maybe you're just worn out and you're telling yourself, you know what, I tried, but it's just too much. It's too hard. I can't. I just can't keep doing this. Or I'm too tired. I'm too busy. Or that last one, you're in the habit of always speaking doubt, which creates a focus on your worries or complaints as opposed to something bigger and better. So we all fall into these traps sometimes. The key is we need to learn how to get ourselves out of them, and we need to learn how to recognize them so we can get ourselves out of them. And so the fact of the matter is words have power, and that's what we're going to talk about next time. I'll see you then.